It was only during this end SARS, not end SARS, during this COVID-19, that most of the celebrities had time to reply a lot of our emails. Some of us are good writers. Some of us have one or two talents to showcase. Some of us has forwarded some of our works to them. And maybe after 1 or 2 years, we even see that work, maybe modernized or whatever, but we never get response. What can we do to be able to stand up and make that difference, since we need them to make it? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, what's your name, sir?
My name is Chizoba.
Nice to meet you, Chizoba. I think it's a very relevant question. It's also fair to discuss each ends of the divide. And because it's seen through my prism as a so-called celebrity, I will answer for myself and I think for numerous others that encounter the same problems. Every time I go to my DM, I see over 100 messages every other day, and that can be a little overwhelming. Now, of this 100, I've tried to filter through some of them, and 80% of them, please excuse my French, is bullshit. You know, the 20% that makes relevance and talk about opportunities, about partnership, about people trying to get their content to me, I sift through it and I find out that I'll give you an example. I gave a certain young man an opportunity once. I told him, listen, I'm going to call you with a number. You have 5 minutes, pitch, because what you wrote is really interesting. 5 minutes, pitch what you're all about, what you want from me specifically, and I'll make a move to make that, to bring that to fruition. I called him. There's a young lady in the background. I don't know what he was doing. I don't want to foster any hazard any guess. But my brother, the sound that was coming from that background is not a normal sound. And I said, hey, bro, after the healing, he said, Baba, let me call you back in 5 minutes, man. I'm telling you, there's another young lady, brilliantly articulated, sent me a message about how she's from London, how she's done da. I said, okay, the moment you're in the country, reach out to so number, call the person in my camp, says so number is going to reach you. Let's have a conversation with this person. This person is smart. I am a sucker for smart people. And I sat down with her. 80% of the conversation at that dinner table was about, you know what? This person wasn't interested in business. And I got up there extremely disappointed. So what I'm saying is that the wear and tears begin to weigh very heavily on you psychologically. You begin to wonder every time you get these messages whether it's a waste of your time or whether you should again put yourself out there and seek to help somebody, because I'm a big proponent of really trying to lift, okay? And I always lift quietly and silently, and that's why my foundation is not out there. That's why I don't have recorded messages of whatever. And I'll tell you why, because my ideology of it is totally different. I feel when somebody reach out to you to ask for help, his or her dignity has been lowered. And I feel the greatest disservice you do to that person is to record that person while you're offering help. That is the worst atrocity ever. Now, a lot of people could argue, I hope it's superior argument, that they do it for the sake of motivation, of opening new doors and getting people on board to help such persons. But I think it's wrong, and that is just my opinion, forgive me. Because every time you record them, I sat through a very awkward moment of watching a colleague of mine record somebody they were giving money to while the children were there. This is the person they look up to. This is their God on earth, so to speak. And you're demeaning this person by offering help while you're televising it or recording it and putting it out there as content so that people will appreciate you. What's the whole point? Is it for self-gratification? I don't understand whether you truly want to help this person. In my opinion, I think you've already taken your reward from God every time you do that. Seriously. Because I think this should be done silently and secretly with as much gratitude and self-appreciation and self-respect and self-dignity to the person you're offering the help to. So, in answer to this question, I've done a lot quietly. I just don't record it because I see no point recording it. It just doesn't make sense. I will not, I will not go to help somebody and totally lower their dignity in every respect while I'm doing it. Because every time they reach out to me, they reach out to somebody for help, you have lowered your dignity, you have lowered your self-respect, you're asking for help, and somebody is helping you, offering you money, offering you some sort of service that will, uplift you, and is recording it. So I don't think it's right. So my brother, you have to bear with us. Sometimes there's just so much happening behind the scene that force people not to take very seriously when you reach out to them in that manner. And I will advise that the way to do it is that where there's a will, there's a way. So if you have enough will, if you forged enough will, make bold to find someone that person listens to or respects. Find a way to communicate directly, because this whole internet space, the whole social media ecosystem is a marketplace. Nobody will take anything you do there seriously. I, for one, don't. Every other person that I've gone out to help in my life came through somebody. Find somebody down the layers, somebody down the rungs of reaching that person. I've helped people through my sisters, I've helped people through colleagues, I've helped people through friends. So find somebody that the person listens to. That is my 5 cents. And then see if you can, something, tangible can happen. Then another thing is, there's something I practice. I will not ask you to if you find it ominous. I understand the power of the conscious mind. I understand the power of speaking things into existence. I understand how you can make things work for you without seemingly going out to chase it. There's a certain thing that you can speak into existence. If you want something to happen with a certain person, let it be the majority of what occupies your mind. Speak it constantly. Believe in it. It's an act of faith that a lot of people might understand that practice. Speak it. Understand that it's going to happen. Wish it to happen. Will it to happen. Chase it relentlessly. In my case, that's how I achieve my goals, especially the ones that a lot of people deem unattainable physically. So, we're here to proffer advice. We're here to offer some sort of help. That's also another way that it happens for me that I want to offer that hopefully it will happen to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that response. Can we take the next question so that we'll wrap it up? Okay.
With your wealth of experience and the amount of time you've been in the industry, I believe you have the buoyant experience to actually answer this question. I have a couple of friends who are very passionate to go into the movie industry and all that. But then while we are having some kind of destiny conversation, something like that, so sometimes I would just want to reach out to them to ask them, I'll say, what have you been up to? How far have you gone with, your movie, whatever? I don't know how true this is, but I believe this is the right place to get the right, information. There's this lady, she's very pretty and all that. So she would always tell me that one producer wants to sleep with her, just to get into the system, that she's been offered the opportunity, that this opportunity is there on the platter, but she just needs to do this to get in. But she's not this kind of person that wants to, do this. I will still encourage her. I'll say, if you get into the system through this way, I don't think it's, when maybe in the future when the younger ones will be asking, how did you do this? Your motivational stories won't actually make a lot of sense if you go into the system like this. So I want to know, is it that the system has been built or is now too rigid? If something like that, has it been devilisified, something like that? Is the system too devilish? It's not the correct English, I'm just saying it. Is the system too devilish? Or has the people in the system made it too rigid that nobody can get into the system the right way? Or is there still some kind of the right way, to still get into the system?
What GBC has said is it necessitates a certain reply as well. I think there's supposed to be clarification in this order. My brother, I could give you the easy version where, we point fingers and blame the right people, and then we can continue with the conversation elsewhere, and I'll be totally exonerated. I could give you the reality of it, which is that, you see this situation you just, spoke about, it happens, it's prevalent in every career choice in the world.
Sure.
There are places you walk into, it's sex on demand. It's like porn. My brother, get with the reality. You see, once you embrace reality, you will also know how to deal with it. But if you suffer a certain disillusion, it will come to you as a shock, and then you won't know how to deal with it. I have 6 sisters, and there's a day my sister woke up and was crying her eyes out and told me there's a certain lecturer. This is one of the smartest women in my family. And he's telling me that a certain lecturer told her that except she comes to sleep with him, she will never pass her course. I said, offer money, that one we have. She offered. This guy said, I know who your brother is. And I'm telling you that except, quote and unquote, I taste the P, I will not pass you. So it happens. I have a cousin that went for an interview, and then this dude, in the whole oil and gas sector, and was told that go and see MD. The MD wants to see you, saw you on the camera. Apparently, he monitors like some perverted being in his office with a camera while they're conducting the interview, and says, this tall, light-skinned one asked her to come and see me. And then another girl had the presence of mind to say, don't go and see him. Because if you go, only one thing will happen. That is how he inducts people into his company. My brother, the story is neither here or there. It just so happens that this is Nollywood now, and then there's the media, there's a certain scrutiny and a media focus like none other in other careers. They're also good people, my brother.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'd like to take that a little further. It's very important because this is an overriding conversation that is swept under the rug constantly. They're good people, my brother. Stay with your integrity. Stay with your well-being. Don't give in. Because at some point, you begin to see it as a black and white situation where without giving in, you won't find your ways. There are people, I'm a producer, I'm an executive producer. I do this back to back. I've dated people in the industry. I've never had to tell anybody, do this without this. I just released a movie called Back Coming. 70% of them were all new talents. I pulled them. There were so many acting debuts. These were people I met, extremely attractive people, that all I was focused on, all I wanted was their gifts and their talent. Your day will come. Don't focus on these idiots. Please forgive my language, but they are the ones that are the bad apple in this bunch. So focus on people that are interested in you as a creative, interested in you as a gifted person, and you will find your day. There's always a day that's meant for you. God will never place you on a path and will not provide. You have to believe in it.
And so says Pastor Jim Iyke. Finally, yes, our time is really, really up, but we can't talk. You can't have Jim Iyke on social media first, and he mentioned his movie Bad Comments, which has to do with social media, and he wouldn't say something about that. Okay. Because your movie Bad Comments has to do with celebrities and handling of the social media market, as you described it. Of particular interest is this issue of trolling on social media. How best can that problem be addressed?
I thought this is the way to address it. As filmmakers, we're saddled with a certain responsibility to educate, to uplift, to bring to mention through our content certain ills or certain gains in the industry, for lack of a better term, in the society, I beg your pardon, for lack of a better term. I've walked into so many movies I've been part of in recent years, and it's all slapstick, content. People honestly believe that Nigerians are mostly depressed, and for that reason, my fellow producers have decided that the bane of our design, of our content, should be centered around humor, where people can walk in, laugh their hearts out, forget their problem for 5 minutes, and come out and face the same problem at home as soon as they get home. It's not going anywhere. Your problems are waiting for you. So the question is, what are you creating as a content creator to uplift? I didn't want a frame of reference. I didn't want it to be called a Hollywood, Bollywood, or Nollywood film. I wanted something that was a common denominator. I felt after 5 years of being away, of doing my business and coming back, I have to amplify a certain ill. I have to amplify a certain voice. The millennial voice right now is in the social media ecosystem. That's why you and I are here. That's why all these beautiful people are here. And that's why I decided I have to make a movie as a common denominator. It doesn't matter if you're 2 years old or 90 years old. We all belong there, directly or indirectly. So that's what Bad Comment is about. It's a chronicle of the social media ecosystem. We want to shine a light on everybody, all the actors. We had to, this movie was told through the prism of the one that was considered an anti-hero, which is the celebrity, is the one that most people think have had an easy ride to the good life. It's not so. Behind the scene, so many things are happening. That person you look up to, that person you troll, that person you hate his lifestyle. If you know the sacrifices he had to make, if you know the problems he faces on a daily basis, if you understand what he has to deal with behind the scene, you'll be thankful to God for your own life. And so that's what this is about. I wanted a conversation to be forced at the highest level for people to begin to understand that the most susceptible people for suicide are between the ages of 15 to 19.
How come?
Yes, very strong demographic. These are the people that determine the economy of every country. And 77% of that demographic happens between the mid to low income societies. That's us. So if this conversation is not being had at the highest level, then it's being swept under the rug. Something is happening. We have very terrible, very potent mental health issues in this country. And nobody's talking about it. Even if you speak about it, people look at you like you're a weak person, or you have spiritual problem, or somebody from your village is chasing you. Your uncle is not chasing you, or your uncle. There's no witch that's been having daily meetings every night on your behalf. It is a natural, you're going through the natural, process of life. Okay. And the only way we can deal with it is when we highlight this through our content, and then people are forced to have conversations. So I didn't make Bad Comment just for the hell of entertainment. I made it as an advocacy as well, that there's a very strong conversation to be had about the mental health issues of this country.
Okay. So what's your word to the trollers on social media? Because they seem to have this negative effect on people who churn out content on social media.
I've had people watch this film and tell me, I will act better. I will carry myself with better decorum in that public domain. Okay. So we're pushing, we're pivoting this conversation. I had a meeting with His Excellency, the Lagos State Governor, a month ago, and we sat down, and the man, I'm telling you, I don't know about my governor, man, but that dude is one of the coolest guys. Okay. And he asked me, Jim, what do you want? And I told him, Your Excellency, straight up, I want a partnership. I want this content to go forward to be the content of choice where people will begin to understand that there are mental health issues to be discussed in this country. That partnership is being forged right now. In December, we're launching a town hall meeting, to discuss this, and we're going to bring experts from all over the world to have this conversation. So it's important. The social media troll, believe me, is despicable. And that's why when you go to this movie, when you see this movie in earnest, you understand why these people are the way they are. There's nothing happening in their lives. And so it's easy for them to project, they're trying to make it culturally cool to project hatred and cruelty in social media. And this is supposed to be a platform that offers the greatest opportunity for people to uplift their lives. The creators of this platform are even beginning to distance themselves from it. You all heard what the CEO of Google said recently, that has become the beehive of idiots. So I think we need to get into this space, understand that it's a public domain, and conduct ourselves with decorum, and regulations have to be had to that end. And that's what we're pushing for.
Okay, you have to apply so much decorum in your activities on social media and your interactions with everyone on social media, irrespective of their personality, status, or individual endeavor. It's on that note that I would like to say thank you very much, Jim Iyke, for your time. And thank you to all of you for being here for this event. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Put your hands together for that.